Any other questions, please, for the commission?
Mr. President, can I ask about Saturday, the House vote on the Postal Service bill? Is that something that you will veto?
We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that. The Democrats want to make it a political issue. It's not a political issue. It's really about a correct vote. You have to get voting right. You can't have millions and millions of ballots sent all over the place, sent to people that are dead, sent to dogs, cats, sent everywhere. This is a serious situation. This isn't games, and you have to get it right. I just want to get it right. Win, lose, or draw. I think we're going to win. Win, lose, or draw. We have to get it right.
With their bill?
Well, they're going to do something in Congress, but everything they do is political. As an example, why don't they do it now instead of on Monday? They picked a day, actually. They picked another day on Monday, as you know. Well, that's when the Republican convention starts. Why don't they do it during the Democrat convention? Because everything they do, Nancy and Chuck, they play games. How's it working out? I think this is the White House, isn't it? How's it working out for them? Not so good. So I will tell you, it's disgraceful. It's disgraceful. We have to have honest voting. That's what this is all about here. It's honest voting. You can't take millions of ballots, send them haphazardly all over the country or all over a state, and expect to come out properly. And if you look at the last 10 elections where they did this universal, and by the way, absentee is great. It's been working for a long time, like in Florida. Absentee, you request, and it comes in, and then you send it back. Absentee is great, but universal is going to be a disaster, the likes of which our country has never seen. It'll end up being a rigged election, or they will never come out with an outcome. They'll have to do it again. And nobody wants that, and I don't want that. Go ahead, please, let's talk about this subject, however. Although, indirectly, we're probably talking about the same subject, wouldn't you say, Cleta? Cleta's an expert on this. I've never even asked. He's one of the great attorneys in Washington. Do you have an opinion on it? And if it's not my opinion, please don't say it. Come on up here, and I must say, very interesting.
Well, I do have an opinion. The president is right. One of the things that the Democrats and their allies in the media and the left have been trying to do for a long time is to have universal mail voting, where election officials send ballots to everybody on the registration list. But we all know there have been multiple studies, the Pew study, millions of people are on the rolls who are no longer living there, they're dead, they're non-citizens. Don't forget, when you go to the DMV or social services, they ask you, they're supposed to, by law, they have to ask you to register to vote, whether you're eligible or not. All of those registrations are dumped into the system, and so there are duplicates. I am chairman of a public interest legal foundation. We're devoted to election integrity. And we just did a study of Allegheny County, Pennsylvania. We found one man with 7 active registrations. If you send him 7 ballots, there's the potential to vote 7 times. So the issue is, I actually have a memo I'm working on to give to the president about what the post office should be doing. They should be working with local election officials. They should be making sure that the ballots are designed in a way that processes properly through the voting equipment, through the post office equipment. If everybody is focused on this situation where somehow the Postal Service, that the president is somehow trying to do something to the Postal Service, I defy anyone in this room to be able to name a single, all of us can name multiple times when we sent a letter across town and it either didn't get there or came back 3 months later undeliverable to a correct address. So we know that the president is not responsible for the problems of the post office, but there are things the Postal Service should do in conjunction with election officials, and they should do those now and make sure that the systems are in place to properly process the ballots that are sent by mail. But the problem is that we are facing hundreds of lawsuits that have been filed by the Democrats and leftist organizations to force states to not have polling places. I personally believe that it's still, we should have election day, we shouldn't have election 3 months, and for sure we ought to be able to know by election night who won. So, Mr. President, you're 100% right, and there are a lot of us who are standing behind you and want to help.
If you have from you, I'll take it. She's really one of the great lawyers. Thank you very much. And I'll wait for it. I like it.
Can I add to the question before about which There are a lot of issues where what the president is doing, talking about public safety, which is increasingly a concern for women as they see what is going on, but also policies that he's taken. So the president has done extraordinary things on healthcare. His executive order requiring price transparency, that is an issue that is 88% popular across the country, across party affiliations, across ideologies, across demographics. Among women who are 40 and under, it's a 98% approval issue. Without this president being reelected, that executive order goes away because Congress hasn't yet made it into a law, because it goes into effect in January of 2021. So this has historically been the number one, if not the top 3 issues in the country. And this is the only person who's going to bring price transparency, which can bring down healthcare costs by 40%, revealing what the true prices are of your hospital or your insurance before you have to pay for it so you can shop, or other people will shop and that will drive down prices. Enormous issue for this cohort. So women care about a lot of things.
So nice that you say that, because they don't speak about it, but transparency is a very controversial issue because doctors don't like it, and frankly hospitals don't. The good